Hi everyone, I'm Advik and I'm from Mumbai. Why am I saying this though? I recently reviewed almost all the videos from this animated story channel and learned one important thing myself. No matter what city or country you were born in, the problems are similar. I'm going to tell my story of what it was thanks to my sister Anvi. It's not a story filled with super intrigue, but it's really vital and about how sometimes the closest environment can poison worse than the others. Advik, look after your sister. Advik, make her some food. Advik, give Anvi some money. Advik, Advik. I grew up with these phrases. Even though my sister is 3 years older than me, I was forced to look out for her for one simple reason. I'm a boy. My parents instilled from childhood that I was not just her little brother, but also her protector, supporter, and family. After all, when they died, it would be just the two of us. Taking my parents' demands for granted, I did everything for Anvi, just to make her smile and grow up to be a happy girl. When my sister turned 19, she decided to go to work. At that time, I was already employed, combined with school. Our parents are a little older, they gave birth to us when they were 29 years old. For this reason, I became the breadwinner early. At first, I bought my sister cosmetic and clothes, but then the needs grew. I had to give her expensive phones, and then she demanded a car while I walked to work. I didn't complain. I wasn't allowed to do that. I was a boy. Finally, when I turned 21, I took all the will in my fist and went abroad to study medicine, becoming a therapist. Education did not come cheap, but I saved for it for many years. Sometimes I worked overtime. I wasn't squeamish, I did everything. Shining shoes, unloading heavy goods, working on construction sites, washing and cleaning houses. Anvi was suffering from depression at the time because she still didn't have a car. I didn't realize at the time that I had been bluntly cut out as a child. I was left with only a tool that could make a living. My eyes were open the moment I arrived in a foreign country. But about that a little later. As I said, I saved up money for education for many years. I managed to pay for a year of distance learning thanks to an acquaintance who helped me do this. I carefully wrapped the rest of the money in a handkerchief, the only gift my mother had given me for my 18th birthday. My mother had given it to me as a blessing. It had Adviku embroidered on it. After packing everything nicely in my bag, I sat down in the corner and began to pray. Afterward, Anvi came up to me. Will you stay long? I don't know, at least a year. Then I'll try to come for a while. You just decided to screw us, that's all. What? How can you say that? I'm going to study to become a doctor so I can earn more money in a prestigious job. And who's going to support us while you're gone? Have you thought about that? My father is working. That's enough money for now. I left some more. I'll work this year too to send you. But my father's money is only enough for house and food and not for my expenses. You're gonna have to roll your lip a little bit. What did you say? How dare you say that to your big sister? Anvi, don't you think that's a little extreme? For as long as I can remember, I've spent all my money on you. And when I finally get a chance to do something for myself, you're going to tell me off? My sister called my father in tears. And they dragged me out of the house by my ears. My father had a stern talk with me and told me that it was unseemly to behave like that with women. I said nothing. I took my things and left. I was warmly welcomed by an acquaintance of mine who had been living in this country for 4 years, and I stayed at his apartment. I went into his house and started unloading my bag, but Darshit offered to do everything himself and for me to go to the bathroom. Thanks, brother. I like to take a shower more than anything right now. When I came out, the table was already set. I had a good meal, and then Darshit said that he had somewhere to go and suggested that I go to sleep. Getting comfortable, I almost fell asleep. Then I suddenly remembered about my money. I gutted my bag, but it wasn't there. I was furious. He took my money and ran off somewhere. I couldn't stay in his house, so I just packed up and left, taking his watch with me. I took it to a pawn shop and got some money, then rented an apartment with some other guys I didn't know and stayed there. The next day, I got to the university, turned in the rest of my papers, took my schedule, and met my classmates. I got lucky. One of them worked in a cafe near uni and offered to work with them. I immediately agreed because I was left without money. Learning about my situation, my new friend Yishan prayed for me and said that I did a noble thing. not reporting Darshit to the police. And after these words, we heard the sound of a siren. Yes, yes, that's for me. I was immediately arrested and taken to the station without explanation. There I met Darshit and almost attacked him. Do you still have a conscience to report me? I was the one who should have done it. How can your conscience say such a thing? You were like a brother to me. I helped you and you stole my watch. And you stole my money. What? What money? At first, I didn't believe what he said, but then we worked it out in a deal. If it wasn't Darshit who stole my money, then who did? The police told me that the money must have been taken out on the way. It often happens, but it is rather impossible to find criminals. It was a good thing that a year of study was paid for, and for the next 4 months, I worked overtime to get my friend's watch out of the pawn shop. The first time I got a call from home was 20 days later. I didn't call myself because I didn't have time. While washing dishes at work, I was studying lectures. While eating, I was reading study materials. And while sleeping, I was asleep. You get the idea. Even though a late call from my dad made me feel a little bit better, I said, "Hello, father," but I got a lot of criticism in return. Why don't you call? Don't even ask how your mother and sister are? What kind of son are you? Have you forgotten about us? Don't you need us anymore? Anvi is crying, praying to heaven for you to be well, and you are unconscionable. I tried to get a word in, but my father got right to the point. Your sister's birthday is coming up. She wants a car. Send us some money, you promised. Dad, I'm in a tough spot right now. Are you whining like a girl again? Have you gone off to live your life at your pleasure? You're a man, so be a man. Dad hung up on me, and my mop came out of my hands. I slept 5 hours a night, ate instant noodles every day, saving on regular food. I lived in a room with 10 people because Darshit and I didn't socialize like that anymore. My conscience wouldn't allow it. Yishan became my only friend. We worked and lived together. He ran up to me and asked what was wrong, and I told him everything. My friend listened and then asked me not to despair. He said that he could help me get the money, but we would have to break the law a little bit. There will be an exam soon. We needed a man who would collect money and offer ready-made answers to the exams to the guys from other universities. And the catch was that the answers were wrong. I am a person who has always worked correctly and in honest ways. I started to feel wild about this kind of earning. I turned it down. And in the evening, I got another call from home. It was my sister. She was crying like crazy. What's wrong, Anvi? Mom's sick. How bad? What happened? I don't know. She's in the hospital. They say there's something wrong with her heart. She needs an emergency operation. I froze up. Mom was the only person in the family who treated me like a son, not a purse or a workforce. I only asked how much was needed and woke up Yishan. I agree, but I need a lot of money, I told him. For the next 2 weeks, we ran around with printed papers, meeting with guys from other colleges and selling fake answers. I focused only on the money, and so I cut my bedtime by 2 more hours. I was falling asleep in my classes. My grades were down, and besides, I had an exam ahead of me. I was pushing myself as hard as I could. Every day Anvi called and didn't tell me much, just that my mom was unconscious. This made me even more unhappy. Money was urgently needed, and I realized that I had to earn money somehow else. I started stealing. Stealing from people in the middle of the night wearing a mask, cap, and gloves. I was ashamed to tell Yishan about it, but I was going crazy just thinking that my mom might be gone. I saved up the money for the surgery in 4 weeks and sent it home. The nurse got it and told me they were going to start the surgery immediately. By then, rumors and nighttime thefts and the alleged perpetrator has started to spread more and more. There were raids at the units looking for someone similar to the sketch. Thanks to my reputation as a diligent student who didn't skip classes, I got away with it. I saved up some more money and Yishan and I split it. I passed my exam and decided to go home to my mother for a week. On arrival, I went straight to the hospital where they told me there was no such patient. I thought she was dead. I almost died. And then they said she had never been there. I went home. I went into the yard and saw my mother watering the flowers. I was so happy. I almost fell over. I ran over and started kissing my mother's feet. She started to cry. Mom, how are you? I'm sorry, I was afraid I wouldn't make it. Thank God you're all right. What are you talking about, son? Why did you come? You didn't even tell me anything. You were in the hospital. What hospital? Anvi told me. Where is she, by the way? Anvi? She and Dad went to buy a car. Thank you, son. You gave your sister such a gift. Are you hungry, by the way? I've got dinner ready. Come on in, we'll celebrate. Mom held my hand and led me into the house, and I was at a loss for words. I was in a state of shock. Mom sat me at the table, and I saw on the kitchen wall my handkerchief with the inscription Adviku. Mom, where did this handkerchief come from? Anvi found it in your room when you had already left. She said you must have lost or forgotten it. I forgot. Yes, I forgot. A minute later, I got a call from Yishan saying that some guy from our university had been arrested on suspicion of committing a series of thefts. This information made me feel even worse. My life was ruined, and my sister and father came into the house. I silently walked up to my father, kissed his hands, then to my mother, and said, "Goodbye, I won't be coming soon now." And I left. Anvi didn't even look at me. My parents don't know what happened to me, and I told everything to the police. Now my case is going to trial. I have come to confess. Let my sister conclude this story. Anvi, God bless you. Tell me, guys, did you like my story? Write your opinion about it in the comments below the video. Don't forget to give likes, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel.